Hey everyone, and welcome to the Defining Your Life podcast, where we focus on living in our purpose, practicing presence, and activating our power in each moment. I'm Marsha Rell, your resident pep talk provider, and I invite you to join me as we continue to learn, lift each other up, and strive to level up together. Because we are never finished defining our lives, and it takes a village, so let's build one. Stay tuned for the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to the pod. I hope that all is well, that you and your families are safe and healthy and experiencing positivity. For many folks, January hasn't gotten off to the greatest start, right? And that's just putting it lightly. So whether you are grieving the loss of a loved one, or maybe your home, or simply life as you know it, I want you to know that I am praying. And if you would like for me to pray for you by name, please send me a DM or text the pod or send me an email. Just reach out in whatever way feels right to you. But I want you to know that I'm here and I'm open to pray for you. You know, there are times when it feels like, what is prayer even going to do? This thing that I'm facing is just too big. That's just an honest human feeling. And you may not be able to do it for yourself. So allow others to lift you up in prayer. Ask for what you need while you are awaiting your restoration, and don't discount the power of prayer. Many of us were lifted in prayer by others when we've been unable to lift ourselves. So if you need lifting, let me know. I am more than happy. I actually would be honored to help lift you. And so with the heaviness that's been hanging around many people, it seems fitting to talk about optimism today. Now, as a recovering pessimist who used to pose as a realist to mask my worry and my negativity, I know that many of us have to really train ourselves to be very intentional about positive thinking just on a normal day, right? It can be very challenging. And if you're like me, you may have on occasion found yourself wondering why it's just so hard to be optimistic. And while it may be hard, particularly in uncertain times or times of great challenge in life, it's so important to do our best to channel optimism. And so I hope that some of what I share with you today will encourage you to do so, even if you find yourself in times that are challenging or uncertain for you. Because when we are down, when we experience loss or challenge, the more that we can lean into optimism and positivity, the better off we will be. I know that sounds pretty obvious, but it's easier said than done, right? However, we can't just wait on our minds to naturally gravitate toward optimistic outcomes. It helps if we try to train ourselves to focus on that which brings hope, that which provides light, that which we may not be able to see. Hope and faith are partners, and we all know that faith is the substance of things hoped for. So you may not be able to see past directly what's in front of you, but you have to trust and believe that there is definitely something beyond what you see and that it is good. I was actually just listening to a live by Ty Bouchamp on Instagram. And she shared some words of wisdom her grandmother used to say to her when she was a little girl. And that was to look up and be encouraged. That to me just really resonated with me. Look up and be encouraged. When we are in the thick of it, we may find ourselves head down, entrenched in the muck of it all, or in the ashes. Right? But it's so important to look up because that's where we will find the light, and that is how we rise. So take it day by day or moment by moment if that's the space that you find yourself in. What's important is taking the steps, because taking steps is evidence that buried underneath everything that you may be going through or have going on, you still believe there is some hope, some optimism, right? And you are choosing to travel toward it with every step that you take. Even when we can't see a great outcome for a situation at all, we have to tap into our faith and believe that there is some good to be found in the midst of it all. We have to channel optimism. And so what is optimism? The Oxford Dictionary says that optimism is hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. And so in many instances, like the decimation of a neighborhood by fire, right, it can be hard to have hopefulness and certainly not confidence about the future. And let me just say that if we know that others are struggling to find the hope and find the confidence, we should be standing in the gap until they can find their hope again, as we would want someone to do for us when we find ourselves in a place of optimistic drought. And you don't have to know them personally, right? According to a Women's Health magazine article, 25% of optimism is genetic. The rest is learned behavior acquired during our upbringing, which means that even if you acquired some optimistic genetics, you'll still need to work a decent amount in order to boost your optimism meter, I'll call it, unless you were born into a family or were able to just surround yourself with folks who only look at the glass as half full. Some of us have to work a bit harder than others to get to that point of optimism. But all of us have to work to maintain an optimistic mindset. So I want to highlight some of the benefits of optimism. Optimism increases life expectancy. Optimism can help you handle stress better so that when dark days come, you will remember to look up. Optimists have stronger immune systems and decreased risk of illness. They are more successful, probably because they don't throw in the towel prematurely. And optimism is also a benefit to others, right? Your positivity can lift others without you even having to do another thing but be around those people. And that's just a short list. So how can we be more optimistic, right? Well, we can practice cognitive reframing. According to BetterHelp, cognitive reframing is the process of shifting your perspective by replacing your negative or flawed thought patterns with more realistic and positive ones, which can help stress management and improve your mood, your mental health, and your well-being overall. All beneficial, right? This is something that you can practice on your own, or you could potentially be introduced to this through your therapist. You can also plan positively, right? Take a look at your calendar, see where you can stack positive activities that bring you joy. I've talked in the past about not waiting for the weekend or living for the weekend. So sporadically doing things throughout the week that are going to bring you joy so that you always have something to look forward to, things that are keeping you hopeful. Design your life so that you are staring down the good and not wallowing in the negative. And plan things to look forward to. It could even be a celebration for yourself. You don't have to wait for others to plan the party that you want to have, right? Maybe you want to catch a cool art exhibit in town. Whatever it is, plan for it. Don't pencil it in, but mark it in permanent ink. We aren't dreaming here. We are doing. And these types of habits build on our more optimistic view of life. And be social, right? Being around other people can improve your mood. You can receive support if you're going through a common experience, and just being in community with others who may be able to pour into you. Well, you can't go wrong there. And use your tools. What kind of tools, Marsharell? What are you talking about? Well, that could be reading scripture that encourages your hope, right? Or journaling to release your emotions. And music, right? What are your favorite songs that have encouraging lyrics? There's a song by Sounds of Blackness from back in the day. You might remember it. It's called Be Optimistic. How fitting, right? But if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the show notes. I'll leave a link of the song, but I want to highlight some of the lyrics here right now. And the song says, if things around you crumble, no, you don't have to stumble and fall. Keep pushing on and don't you look back. I know the storm and strife cloud up your outlook on life. Just think ahead and you'll be inspired to reach higher and higher. You'll always do your best if you learn to never say never. You may be down, but you're not out. As long as you keep your head to the sky, you can win. It often seems that we won't win, though, right? That we can't win. And it's true. You definitely can't win if you count yourself out of the game. So keep your head to the sky. Look up and be encouraged. Just because you're down, don't count yourself out. Don't give up. Encourage yourself and keep the faith, right? Life's full of many ups and downs. Some downs we may anticipate, even though we don't know how they'll make us feel when they come. Others we can't imagine in any way, shape, or form and can't fathom or comprehend these things could ever even happen. But through it all, if we choose optimism, we'll be better for it. And remember that you can allow yourself to feel your feelings. You should allow yourself to feel your feelings. You can be all the things, sad, angry, disappointed. But the key to channeling optimism is to not sit in those negative feelings. You got to let it go. We have to release and press forward. My pastor was just saying on Sunday to be forward focused. When you are forward focused, you don't have time to wallow. Your focus is on what's good, what's up, and what's next. And that's how we channel optimism. May we all be a little more optimistic today, no matter what is going on. And if you know someone going through a challenging time, maybe you don't know them personally, but they may be having trouble looking up and being encouraged, do what you can to demonstrate that goodness is out in the world. And let your actions demonstrate that there is still hope, right? That's your charge today. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to those of you who have been sending me texts. I really appreciate it. I'm honored really to know that something that I've shared here was impactful enough for you to reach out and share your thoughts with me. And for those of you who haven't had the opportunity yet, please remember to share, review, and rate the podcast if you find that the content shared here is beneficial. And I can't wait to chat with you all again next week. Take care until then.